Hello guys, and welcome back to my podcast. Today, I'm actually in a very different location compared to where all of my other episodes have been created. Today, I'm actually sitting in this parking lot, and it's kind of a sketchy looking parking lot, but I'm sitting in this sketchy parking lot. Even though it's actually not sketchy, I'm actually at the school district of my hometown's distribution center where they have all the school buses and stuff. But yeah, that's where I am. I have my AC turned off. I'm sitting in my car with my doors locked, but I'm just sitting here and I'm going to be recording this episode because I realized that all of my other episodes have been recorded at night, and it's actually nighttime right now too. It's 6:46 p.m. 6:47 actually. But I feel like I've been recording my previous episodes so late at night that I just have no energy to really give anything valuable or give you anything really interesting to listen to. So I decided to, instead of record at 2 a.m., I'm recording a few hours earlier. So hopefully this episode will be a little bit interesting. I don't know. But yeah, also the audio quality is a little bit more shaky probably. One, because I'm holding my microphone in my hand, and usually I don't hold it. Usually my microphone is sitting on my desk at home, but for me, I can either record in my house late at night because it's too chaotic in the daytime, or I have to record here in my car. So I chose to record in my car, even though it's 6:46 and it's really, or 6:47, sorry, and it's really dark outside. Well, it looks really dark outside. And also, there's probably cars driving around, so if there's sounds that you hear in the background, I apologize for that. Anyways, today, I have a somewhat controversial take on someone who is very popular right now, but I think that I can provide a unique perspective on this person. I do want to say that I am not trying to make a video essay here. This is not a video essay. This is not anything structured. This is not like one of those videos you see on YouTube where people just kind of have very good, very detailed reasons as to why they do or don't like someone, or like a celebrity, for example, or whatever it is. This isn't one of those videos. This is literally just me, a silly girl sitting in her car on a Tuesday night, just recording and talking to you as if I'm your friend. I'm not trying to have that weird parasocial relationship type of thing, by the way, that Emma Chamberlain, for example, has, where she just talks to her camera and makes it seem like you're best friends with her. That's not what I'm trying to do here. So that's not what I'm trying to do. But also I'm literally just a person with thoughts and opinions. So don't think that this is a video essay. Please don't think that this will be anything structured for you to critique in a way where it's I don't know what I'm saying, but this is not professional, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. Bottom line is, this is not professional. It's very casual. Okay. Also, don't hate me for my opinions, but also if you do, you can. You can in the comments. Just maybe be a little nice, but I promise I'm okay with constructive criticism. Okay. Anyways, let's get into today's topic. And usually also on this podcast, I don't want to have topics. I just want to talk about whatever I want to talk about. But today I have a topic, and today's topic is Sabrina Carpenter. Okay, so I need to say this. I have been a huge Sabrina Carpenter stan. I'm going to say stan, not fan, because stan is a bigger word in my opinion than fan. I have been a huge Sabrina Carpenter stan for so many years. Okay, so many years. And I feel like I, of all people, have the authority and the right to say everything that I am about to say, because I have been through every single one of Sabrina Carpenter's phases. None of you bitches can say that. Okay, let me just put that out there. You guys hopped on the Sabrina Carpenter train in 2021, maybe, but honestly, not even then. Probably most of you probably hopped on the train last year or this year, either through her opening for Taylor Swift, or this year in 2024 with Espresso and everything. But I can tell you guys right now, you guys don't know the real Sabrina Carpenter in the way that I do, okay? I have been a huge OG fan of Sabrina Carpenter. I also have been a huge OG Ariana Grande fan. Maybe I'll talk about that in another episode, but genuinely believe me when I say I'm an OG fan for these people. With Ariana, I remember in 2013, I was I was literally like leaving my 7th grade middle school class to go to her like winter holiday party that she hosted in my city. Like, I was like obsessed with her. Like, I had fan accounts for her. I've had multiple fan accounts for her. I've met this girl also. That's a different story. But yeah, like, I have so many things that I could say as proof of the fact that I've been OG fans of a lot of people, but specifically Ariana and Sabrina. And for Sabrina, I mean, I think we all watched her on Girl Meets World. And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of pisses me off when people say on TikTok, like, oh my god, I've loved her since she was Maya Hart on Girl Meets World, or like, oh my god, I love Girl Meets World, or I loved Girl Meets World and I loved her in it, and I've been a fan ever since. But I can tell you right now, most of those people were not real fans of her. I mean, of course, okay, like, this sounds so gatekeepy, obviously. Honestly, I kind of wish I did gatekeep her, because for the longest time, I was never gatekeeping her. I was always honestly trying to shove her down everyone's throat. I was like, here, you need to listen to Sabrina Carpenter. Here, you need to watch her, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I actually, honestly, wish I had gatekept her now, because I don't like that she's so huge. Because, I mean, okay, I don't like it because everyone, like, knows who she is, and, like, like, it's so stupid, I know. Like, I think she's just become so mainstream in a way where people just, like, don't know how talented she really is musically, not as a person, but, like, musically. And it kind of pisses me off that people just kind of are now able to reduce her to this one type of thing. But also, I have been able to put that blame on her also, because she puts herself in that position. She reduces herself to be also viewed that way too, so that's a separate thing. But I think yeah, I've always shoved her down everyone's throat, and I've always wanted people in my life to appreciate her artistry, or at least what I thought was artistry. But yeah, now that she's mainstream, I don't know, I guess I don't like fully agree with the decisions that she's been making. And I'll get into that. And I'm not saying that in a way where, like, you know how, like, people, like, when someone is, like, really basic, like Taylor Swift, for example, if Taylor Swift is liked by so many people in the world, or once she became liked by so many people in the world and she became mainstream and basic, now it was all of a sudden, like, you know, weird to like her, and you're not supposed to like her anymore, and, you know, it's cringe and basic and so teenage girly of you to, like someone who's so popular and mainstream. This isn't that. That's not what I'm upset about, or that's not, like, the reason why I'm happy or I'm unhappy that she got mainstream. I'm upset because of the changes that I've seen within her, but then also at the same time, I don't think that fame changes people. I think that it just brings out who people really are. And so I think that with Sabrina, yeah, I can say she changed because of her mainstream success, but to be honest, it's probably just how she's always been her entire life. I'm just seeing it now on a wider scale because she's got the success that she's always wanted now, and it's just bringing out the worst in her in ways that I never saw before, or it just, like, is highlighting it for me now to see. But I'll get into that. Let me give you some backstory, though. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I was a huge Girl Meets World stan, obviously. As in, like, I used to really want to go to the Girl Meets World live tapings, and I don't know if you guys know what that is, but basically in California, in LA, they would have these live tapings for the show. And I remember at the time I started getting involved in the Girl Meets World stan Twitter side of Twitter, I guess. And I actually, fun fact, used to stan Rowan Blanchard before. She's, like, literally, like, my age, or, like, maybe she's, like, a month younger than me, I don't know, but yeah, she's, like, around my age, so it's kind of funny that I kind of stand a girl who was my age at the time. Also, standing someone in general is weird. I'm sorry, I can say this as someone who was very actively involved on stan Twitter, but I'm making this a different episode. Like, I'm trying to make this whole episode about, like, celebrities and stuff, but that's going to be posted at some time, hopefully soon, I don't know, but that's a different topic. But yeah, I just do think, though, that standing anyone in the world, having a favorite celebrity, honestly, the concept of celebrities is very strange to me, and I can say this as someone who very actively participated and continues to participate in it currently too. That's beside the point. I did stan Rowan Blanchard, and then I realized she doesn't do anything, as in, like, she doesn't have, like, art that she puts out. I guess she does have art, like, she is an actress and stuff in some, like, indie films and things like that, but at the time she really just had Girl Meets World, and that was it. So I don't know, I think she was very much, like, not really putting music out in the way that maybe Ariana was at the time. And again, I'm a huge OG, like genuine OG fan of Ariana. So like when you compare the two, like Rowan Blanchard and Ariana Grande, like yeah, like Ariana was doing a lot more for her fans and putting out a lot more things. So yeah, I kind of stopped standing Rowan Blanchard. But fun fact, I actually did beef with Carmen Blanchard, her sister, on Twitter. Oh my god, I swear, Carmen would probably know me if she, like, remembered that deep-seated lore from way back then, even though I was so immature and so stupid back then. Like, genuinely, ew, like, so cringe. But, yeah, that, honestly, like, the Girl Meets World fandom was so toxic back then. I'm not kidding. It was so toxic. You would think, like, it's a Disney show. Like, first of all, who has a fandom for a Disney Channel show? But I don't know, I was involved in it, I guess. And Carmen Blanchard was involved in it too, and she was like friends with like the popular girls of the Girl Meets World fandom. And fun fact, actually, Madeline RG, she would probably hate me for saying this, but I love her podcasts. Like, literally, her podcast is what I look forward to listening to every single week. But yeah, actually, fun fact though, Madeline RG has talked about how she was a huge Sabrina Carpenter stan. And we actually had mutuals in common on Stan Twitter at the time, because we were both on Sabrina Carpenter Stan Twitter way back then. So yeah, I think that is just a fun fact. Anyways, once I realized that Rowan Blanchard was not super actively involved in things, I kind of noticed this blonde girl, and I was like, okay, I'll stan her instead. Okay, cool. So then I did. And yeah, ever since then, I've been a Sabrina Carpenter stan. I still like Rowan Blanchard, but like, I don't know, she doesn't really post that much when it comes to like things that I can consume, like media that I can consume. So then I started standing Sabrina, and so that was in 2015, I want to say. And yeah, it's been almost 10 years, which is kind of insane. And I'm not just saying I stan her as in like, oh, I just like casually listen to her music. No, I wish, honestly, that I was a casual listener. But I had an Ariana stan account at the time. I have it exists. And so I basically turned it into an Ariana and Sabrina stan account at the time. And so yeah, I've seen Sabrina through all of her phases. I have even like I didn't get to meet her, but I won a contest to meet her back in like 2016 or 2017. It was like January of either 2016 or 2017. Yeah, I entered this contest. I was really trying to win. I was actually really sad because I entered this contest through iHeartRadio, and basically I got some of my friends who don't really care, or didn't at the time. Now they do, but at the time they didn't care about Sabrina Carpenter, so I got them to enter for me under like my name or whatever. And so anyways, one of my friends, she ended up winning, and then she was like, oh, like, you know, I got this email, like, I think this is for you. And I was like, oh my god, crazy. But I saw the email after the contest had ended, like literally that same day. I think the contest, or not the contest, I mean like the meet and greet, sorry. The meet and greet was supposed to be at like 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. on this like Friday. And when I checked my friend's text to me about the email, it was like 4 p.m. And then I went to check my own email. Turns out I also won. So I was literally so upset. I was like, oh my god, like I could have met my idol, but I did not. And so that was that. But I did almost get to meet her. I've seen her live a few times. I saw her live once in 2016. It was in October, actually. Oh my god, I miss the vibes. Also, I'm a very nostalgic person, so if I ever am like, oh my god, I miss the vibes, it's because I'm very nostalgic, so you'll have to deal with it. But yeah, like, just so you know, going forward on this podcast, if I ever say stuff like that, it's because I'm an extremely nostalgic person. But yeah, yeah, in 2016, in October, this was my sophomore year of high school, I got to see her live. And fun fact, okay, I'm like, at this point, I'm giving you so many details that are not important to the reason why I don't like Sabrina Carpenter now. But you know, I'm just gonna tell you all the details if you care. If you don't care, you can skip ahead. I don't know where you'll skip ahead to, because I don't really feel like putting the timestamp on the video, but you can look for it yourself, okay? Bro, what the hell? Apparently my audio just like stopped recording, so now I have to re-record a good amount of what I just said. So I am just going to sum this up as quickly as I possibly can because I'm kind of annoyed that I have to repeat everything I just said. Okay, basically, yeah, so I almost met Sabrina. I don't even remember what I just said in the last clip before it got cut off. Okay, I almost met Sabrina, and then I got to see her live in 2016, in October of 2016. And this was actually my first time getting to see her live, and it was also my first time going to a concert alone, which is kind of a monumental thing for me. But I mean, I didn't choose to go alone. It was more like my mom and my sister were supposed to come, but then my sister had a 6th grade choir concert, so she decided not to go. Crazy, I don't know, but I guess she couldn't go, and so I ended up going alone. Anyways, then flash forward to 2017, I got to see her on the D tour, which I'm assuming the vast majority of you guys don't even know what that is, but it was one of her tours that she had at the time, and I went with one of my close OG friends, one of my friends who is also an OG fan of Sabrina. In 2018, 2019, I didn't get to see her in 2019 because she did go on tour that year, but at that point I left for college, and so she didn't come to my college city, so I was like, okay, whatever, I guess I won't be seeing her, and so I didn't get to see her. And then I saw her again in 2023, so last year, and she came for the Emails I Can't Send tour. And then I also saw her this year at Gov Ball in New York, which I was very happy to be able to see her live. But yeah, okay, let me get into what I was trying to say, because I, again, am kind of upset that it did not record what I was saying. But basically, I have seen her through all of her phases, okay? Trust me when I say that. She follows me on Twitter, she's tweeted me before, I have been, or at least in the past, I was very actively involved in the fandom because I was an Ariana and Sabrina stan. And so yeah, that's my backstory. But basically, I don't think there was any real scandal until 2019. It's a mini fandom-wide scandal, basically. Not really a scandal, but her fans were upset, and rightfully so. Myself included, by the way. Basically, Sabrina was in this movie called Tall Girl, which I'm pretty sure is on Netflix. I haven't watched it, but I know it's one of her movies. And yeah, I didn't watch it because it seemed kind of cringe, but it's there. And she ended up dating her co-star Griffin Gluck in that movie, which, by the way, I will say, I don't really like Sabrina's music very much nowadays. I think her music back then was so good. Nowadays it's okay, it's not bad, I like it, but she has way better music. And so yeah, anyways, this relationship of hers with Griffin Gluck produced her best music, but obviously not a great person, I guess, in a way, because basically at the time Griffin Gluck had been exposed on Twitter for having all these racist and transphobic tweets, and he was also posting these things too and liking stuff that other people posted that were problematic in some way. He was, actively involved in these horrible things, and so people were rightfully upset with Sabrina because that's your boyfriend. You know what I mean? Why would you actively choose to be involved with someone so intimately who is not a good person, clearly? And that is a huge reflection of who you are as a person and of your character. And I don't care what anyone says, that's the truth, okay? I remember there were some stans at the time who were so up her ass, and they were so well, why are you blaming Sabrina? And actually they would say this about this the Olivia and Joshua stuff too. Yeah, some people, they would be oh, why are you blaming Sabrina for a man's actions? But it's hello, can we not keep people and hold people accountable for who they choose to associate with? Because who you choose to associate with is a huge reflection of who you are as a person, what your beliefs and what your thoughts are. And even if you don't personally believe those things, but you still choose to be around someone who's not a good person, that tells me that you have no self-respect. Okay, 100% you have no self-respect. Because for me, if you're not a good person, I'm not going to associate with you. It's that simple. I have morals that I stick to. I have a moral code that I try to abide by, and I am not going to surround myself with people who don't serve me and don't try to actively make me a better person, and who also are just not good people. Like, for example, I had this really close friend of mine who I somewhat recently kind of cut off because she was a pick-me. And it's not like she did anything actively wrong. She's not a bad person, and she's not an actively bad person. She didn't really do anything actually wrong. But it's not about that. It's about the people that I want to involve in my life. And I decided I don't want someone with that kind of energy. If you're not actively exuding good energy, I'm not going to keep you around, because that's a reflection of who I am. And if I did keep someone like that around, that would mean that I have no self-respect for myself. Well, okay, that's redundant, but yeah, I have no self-respect, and I'm just easily willing to allow anyone in my life. Because why? Because I'm lonely? Because I need more people in my life? Because I need friends? No, like, that's lame. I'm sorry, that's so lame. And I can say this as someone who in high school, I definitely probably kept people around more than I should have, when they weren't serving me any real purpose, and they weren't as good of people, I guess, as they should have been. But yeah, so that is what I think. Okay, that is my opinion on people who will date people who are just not good people. But we all know those liberal women who have Trump supporter boyfriends. If you have morals, you need to stick to them, okay? Don't just do what's convenient for you. Don't have these beliefs and strong moral values, and then all of a sudden, when it comes to your personal life, all your values just run out the window, okay? So anyways, back to Sabrina. Her fans were upset with her, okay? And I was also upset with her for this, because how can you claim to be this one type of person but then actively involve yourself with someone who's not a good person? Like, that's just very contradictory. Also, she has a history of doing this. Like, I've seen her hang out with David Dobrik, which I also find interesting, because she was pretty close friends with Liza Koshy at one point, and like, that's her ex. And like, I can understand it if, like, I don't know, Sabrina and David Dobrik were friends before their breakup or whatever, but their breakup happened a long time ago, and I'm pretty sure Sabrina only started hanging out with David Dobrik after the breakup. Anyways, besides that though, David Dobrik is obviously not a good person. We all know that. So yeah, I just think that's interesting. But anyways, she has a history of hanging out with people who are not good people, which is a reflection of who she is. Also, she's a clout chaser. Sorry, I will get into that though. But yeah. Anyways, so Sabrina, her fans were getting really upset, and so she posted this Twitter statement online. I wonder if I can find it, because I would actually like to read it out loud if I can find it. So let me find it, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I found it online. I'm not going to read out the whole thing, because you can do that on your own if you want to read it. But it is online out there if you want to look for it yourself. But basically, I'll just read out some of the stuff that I didn't like about the statement that she wrote. Maybe I will read some large portion of this, actually. Okay, basically at the beginning she says, "Hello friends, I realized there's simply no way to have the truth be perceived the way that you want. Some of you will believe me, some of you won't, so I have to accept that. But I am so terribly sorry that someone I have associated with had done things in the past to make you question my character in the present. I didn't know them at the time. That is not who I know them to be now. I'm sorry some of you felt personally victimized. I understand if you were hurt or confused, but as it wasn't my actions, I didn't feel like it was my place to explain, other than what I've already said, which is, I'm not in support of those past actions." She continues on and says something else, blah, blah, blah. Something else she also said was, "I am a little tired of walking on eggshells, and I miss talking to you guys. It just recently felt less like talking/listening to each other, and more just attacking/assuming. So that's where I had to step back for health reasons. Not to ignore or avoid, but simply to process. There are real people behind these screens with so much more going on than what you see. Please remember that. Blah, blah, blah." Okay. That's what she said. And I have thoughts about that statement, and I have had these same thoughts ever since she released them back in 2019, okay? First of all, the beginning I wasn't a huge fan of, first of all, just because she says, there's no way to have the truth be perceived the way you want. Some of you will believe me, some of you won't, so I have to accept that. The thing that I'm wondering is, what do you mean the truth? And some of you will believe me, some of you won't. What is there to believe or not believe? I'm assuming she's talking about how she wants us to believe that Griffin is no longer that type of person, or at least at the time of this statement. He is no longer that person, and he has grown since then. I think that's interesting, because if we're talking about the stuff that he posted online themselves that were racist, sexist, transphobic, etc., that isn't like something that you can either perceive one way or the other. It's the fact. Like, if you're saying the N-word, there's only so many ways that you can interpret that, you know what I mean? And so if she's talking about that, if she's talking about like perceiving like the tweets that he would be making, or the posts or whatever it was that he was making, then there's only one way that you can really interpret some of those things. But if she's talking about like perceiving how he is now as a person, or at least back then when this was posted, then that's a different situation. I don't know if that makes sense. But I think I already did not really like that, and I didn't like that part of the statement. But the thing that I disliked the most about the statement, though, was the part where she talks about walking on eggshells. Like, I'm sorry, but I feel like it's very valid criticism for your fans to be upset with you if you are supporting someone who is not a good person. Clearly, I think that is definitely valid criticism. And so for you to then suddenly kind of victimize yourself in a way and be like, I'm tired of walking on eggshells around these people who are calling me out for my bad behavior because, again, you're associating with a bad person. I'm sorry, that's just not right. Like, I remember seeing that at the time in 2019. I think this is probably from 2019. And I was just like, what? Like, I'm sorry, what? And so, no, you're not gonna call us bad people. I mean, okay, she's not calling us bad people, but like, you're not gonna turn it around on us, you know, when you're the one who's doing something wrong here and all your fans are just calling you out. And they weren't even calling her out in a bad way. They weren't being like, because I remember they weren't being like, oh my god, this girl sucks. It was more like, I'm a little bit hurt that Sabrina is dating someone who is clearly against my rights. So that was strike number one for me. Also, like, the other stuff in that statement, like, you know, like stepping back for health reasons, I mean, okay, all right. And then I'm assuming she means mental health reasons. And also, like, you know, like the part where she says, it just recently felt less like talking / listening and more like attacking and assuming. Okay, sorry, my laptop keeps randomly stopping my audio. But I mean, if that's all we're seeing from you, if all that we see is that you're suddenly dating this guy who has bad beliefs, what do you think we're going to assume about you and your beliefs? I feel like it's only logical then that we would assume that you have similar beliefs, because why else would you be supporting and dating someone who's shown that they're not a good person? I feel like I feel like her line in that statement was not necessary, and I feel like if anything that really shows what kind of person she is. But okay, all right, whatever. That was strike one, though. I still supported Sabrina even after that, because, you know, she still has really great vocals, and at this point in time she had really great music still. And so then that was strike one, though. All right, but then flash forward to 2021, and I'm sure we all know where this is heading, where this is going. But in early 2021, Olivia Rodrigo releases Driver's License, which, by the way, I love Olivia Rodrigo, okay? Like, at the time, like, when she released Driver's License, I listened to it, and I was like, oh, I mean, I like it, but it's also kind of, like, whatever. Like, I don't think it's monumental. I don't think it's, like, the world's best song ever, like, the way that everyone on the internet is making it seem like it is. And, you know, I thought it was kind of overrated, which I still actually do agree with. Like, I still like the song, but I think she has way better songs out compared to Driver's License, but it's a great song still. And I fully love Olivia. I think she's doing such a good job with her career, and I will get into that too, but I think that she's really smart in how she's trying to build her career, as opposed to Sabrina, which, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. But anyways, so she releases Driver's License, and we all know there was like that one line about the blonde lyric or whatever. Then Sabrina releases Skin, and this is when strike two occurred in my brain, because I listened to Skin and I was literally in shock. Because first of all, I was really excited actually for Sabrina to be releasing a song that day. I didn't expect it to be that horrible. Like, and oh my god, the thing that drove me insane too, and I'm not gonna go like read the lyrics out to you right now for Skin. You can go listen to it on your own time, but I'm just assuming that all of you have already listened to Skin. But yeah, I just remember being in shock, honestly, and I did not expect Sabrina to release something like that. And the thing that pissed me off the most was that Sabrina would lie in interviews about who that song is about, okay, or like who that song is targeted for. Because if you have even half of a brain cell, you would be able to know that Sabrina is clearly singing and addressing Olivia. She's not singing to people who are hating on her the way that she makes it seem like in interviews. Because I remember at the time in 2021, they would ask her like, who is this for? And she would be like, oh, this is for all the people who are hating on me. I mean, she didn't say it like that, but like, you know, people who are like, you know, critiquing her and stuff like that. And also, by the way, I mean, I don't want to accuse her because I really don't know the full details, but like, I always kind of suspected that she was somewhat of a homewrecker. I don't think she homewrecked in the sense that she actually got with Joshua physically while Olivia and Joshua were dating. But I have always thought that Sabrina was definitely talking to Joshua. And that's what it seemed like also from Traitor by Olivia. Like, she was basically saying in that song that yeah, Joshua didn't cheat, but he's still a traitor. Because also pretty sure, based off the timeline that I know of, that Sabrina was definitely talking to Josh in a way where she shouldn't have been talking to him. And also Olivia has songs about this topic too, like Apocalyptic Crush. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that song, but it's like one of her unreleased songs. It's very clearly about Sabrina, I think. But anyways, I've always thought that, in my opinion, that's low-key still somewhat homewrecking. But anyways, I'm not gonna call her a homewrecker though, for sure, because I don't have proof. Although when it comes to someone like Ariana, I will call her a homewrecker, because she is a homewrecker. But again, that's another episode. And so anyways, then yeah, that happens, and I was just in shock. I mean, this girl Olivia is heartbroken over what happened. And yeah, you could be like, why are you bringing up old drama? I'm gonna bring up old drama, okay, bitch? I'm gonna bring out all the drama, because I have been here and I've seen all this stuff and I've sat so quietly. But I know Sabrina's not a good person, okay? Olivia is heartbroken over here, and Sabrina is all like, oh yeah, I'm all up on your man, like, you wish you were me, blah blah blah, you fucking suck. Like, huh? Sorry, what? And keep in mind, Olivia's 17, Sabrina is 21, okay? 21. She is a full-on grown adult trying to taunt this child. Okay, maybe not a child, but like, you know, someone who's clearly younger than her, and also upset and sad too. And again, given the history that I know with Sabrina and Joshua's timeline, I wouldn't be surprised if she homewrecked. But I don't think she homewrecked physically though. I feel like she probably homewrecked more emotionally, if that's a thing. And so yeah, anyways, that really made me upset though, because as a longtime fan, I just never expected Sabrina to ever release something like that. And also, it came out 2 weeks after Olivia's song Driver's License. So to me, I was like, wow, Sabrina really, really wants fame. I already, like, that was like the first time that I picked up on this, that Sabrina would be willing to do anything for fame. And that's something I will get into also, hopefully, in this episode. But yeah, like, she is 100% an attention seeker. She is a clout chaser, and she is so willing to do anything, even if it involves hurting another person in the process, to achieve fame and success, so-called success. And it's just so embarrassing and sad to see. If you have any moral conscience, if you have any brain cells in your brain, well, that was kind of redundant, but yeah, like, like, if you have any sort of like empathy, I guess, for other people, you would never release something like that. Even if in the bottom of your heart you felt that way, why would you record that song and then release it publicly, you know? But I guess Sabrina got what she wanted. She posted that song, she released Skin, and yeah, like, musically, sonically, it's a good song. She has good vocals, whatever, although I still prefer Driver's License. But she got what she wanted though, because the song did well, and that was the first time a lot of people in the world heard about her. And obviously people turned on Sabrina because they were like, this is so petty, whatever. And I don't even understand how people defend Sabrina, to be honest, after Skin. I know I wouldn't, but because I was such a long time fan, I was like, oh, well, you know, I don't really know how much I like her as a person, but I'll accept it, I guess. Whatever. Flash forward to a little later, she releases All Because I Liked a Boy. Or no, wait, Because I Liked a Boy, sorry. She released Because I Liked a Boy, and that was in 2022 with Emails I Can't Send. I do like Emails I Can't Send. I will say, though, that I think her old music was way better, and this kind of goes into what I wanted to say, which is that I do think that Sabrina has now become someone who is so willing to do whatever it takes to become famous and I guess financially successful too, that she will throw people under the bus. She will, I don't know, release music that I don't even think she necessarily resonates with. She'll do whatever it is, I guess, essentially, for the fame. I don't even think she cares about the artistry anymore. I just think that she cares about the fame, the money, the success, all of the eyes on her, the praise that she gets from people. She's always been a clout chaser. I kind of picked up on that around 2019, 2020, but she's always been that way. But I don't think I really realized it until recently. Clearly, she loves bringing people into drama. And again, she didn't really do this like before 2019 or before 2020 or 2021. I don't think she ever brought really people into drama and stuff. She was kind of like low-key, chill, humble. Well, I don't think she was actually humble, but publicly she appeared to be humble. But I think the fact that she has 2 love triangles, including the Sabrina Carpenter, Shawn Mendes, Camila Cabello love triangle, I think that is very telling. Like, clearly she needs to get her name in mud and bring other people's names down with her in order to be somewhat successful. I just think she's really shown herself to be someone who is willing to do whatever it takes for fame and not necessarily about the art. And I think at one point in time I would have said that Sabrina is a good artist and she, you know, genuinely cares about her craft and her artistry. Like, there's some celebrities and singers out there who I think are good musicians, and yeah, I don't think they're good people at all, but they're very serious about their craft. So I can at least respect that aspect of it, you know? Like, for example, Ariana, I think she's a horrible person as a person, but she is undeniably talented, and you can tell she truly loves music. Yeah, she of course has her attention-seeking behaviors here and there, actually a lot of the time, but generally speaking, she is very talented musically, and it shows, and you can tell that she really cares about what she's doing. I mean, the fact that she does all of her vocal comps on her own, the fact that she has so many layered harmonies, and she's been doing that for many years. I'm a huge, or am/was/am a huge OG Ariana stan, so I know a lot about like what she does, and so yeah, I know that she at least has that going for her. And I think at one point I would have said Sabrina also was, you know, really passionate about her artistry. But if we really look at the facts, I don't think she is. I think for her, first of all, I've listened to all of her music clearly because I have been here throughout all of the phases. And I think that if you listen to all of her albums, you'll find every single album has a different sound. And it doesn't seem like it's like that purposely, like in an experimental way where she's trying to find her sound. It's more like she's just trying to ride on the waves of different trends that are happening just so she can find the one that makes her the most famous. Like, for example, we all know that she is doing her whole like sexy baby thing, and that's a whole other thing that I maybe should get into, but she's obviously trying to market herself as this like Polly Pocket hypersexual child almost, well, okay, maybe not child, but like sexy baby type of thing, you know. And I personally don't think that's good for women. I think that's actually harmful for women, the way that she specifically markets it. Like, I don't have a problem with women singing about sex, but I have a problem when it comes to the way that she's doing it, and it just feels very icky. I think she tries to appeal to the male gaze a lot, but I think it ended up actually sticking with women, and it actually ended up appealing to the female gaze, and I don't think she likes that, but it has ended up being that way, and it is now serving to benefit her, so she's kind of sticking with it. But I honestly think that she really wanted to appeal to the male gaze. Oh yeah, but like basically if you listen to her albums, there's no real cohesion there. And listen, I am a huge Singular Act 1 and Singular Act 2 and Honeymoon Fades stan, okay? I love those projects, those were definitely my favorite songs of all time. I love Singular Act 1, Singular Act 2, and Honeymoon Phase, and all of her like pop R&B songs. Those were like so good. From like 2018 to 2020 were her like best songs in my opinion. But I will say though that like I just have noticed that she really just tries to ride on the trends. Like with Emails I Can't Send, when she released that, it definitely sounded like she was taking more inspiration from like the indie folk pop trends of music at the time, and now it's more like fun music, like Chapel Rooney type of music. So now she's trying to play into that too, which, don't get me wrong, every artist plays into trends, but the thing is like when it comes to Sabrina, I have never been able to get that authentic vibe from her. Like, it's one thing if Ariana is playing into those trends, you know, if she is riding with the waves of different musical trends that are happening, but I can always tell that she genuinely loves that kind of music, and she genuinely feels like she wants to make that kind of music. And that's why if Ariana were to make like an indie folk pop album like in 2024, I wouldn't feel like she is doing it because of the trend. I would feel like because she genuinely wanted to do it. The difference though is with Sabrina, I have always gotten the vibe that she's just doing it because she's trying to figure out what will get her the most success. And that's why I have been getting the ick from her. Okay, and that even comes down to like all of her sexual references, like her innuendos. Like, obviously she saw how popular Nonsense became because Nonsense was actually a fan selected single. She had actually put out quite a few singles like Skinny Dipping and Fast Times and Because I Liked a Boy, and I think there might have been another, I don't remember, Vicious. Yeah, like she put out all these different songs and none of them really properly stuck with people. I think Because I Liked a Boy kind of did. And also I do love that sound from her actually. Although I will say her best era in terms of sound and music, and I think most OG fans will agree, was 2018, 2019, 2020. But I think that once her fans happened to blow up Nonsense, because it was, again, a fan selected single, as in she didn't think anything of it, she just threw it on the album, and her fans ended up loving that song. So then she created that Nonsense outro stuff. And I think when she saw that so many people seemed to like it, that's kind of when she made it her entire thing. Like, she made sexual references, like innuendos and sexual things and talking about sex all of the time. Like, that's when she started making it her entire personality. And that shift was so interesting to me because you cannot genuinely convince me, as someone who's seen her throughout all of her phases, that she is this obsessed with sex on a personal level, and she's even said that herself too. I genuinely think she's only doing it because it's getting her fame and it's getting her success, and it's bringing her everything that she wants, which is not that she wants to be appreciated for her artistry and her musical talents, because she actually does have musical talents that people don't know of, but again, she's not showcasing it because she wants fame, and I think that's icky. But it's not because of that. It's that she just wants what she wants, no matter what it takes to get there, and it's giving desperation to me. And I think that she's willing to compromise her morals, if she has any morals, in order to get there in the first place, and I just don't like that personally. I think that's really icky. I think that we need a more moral-based society. And when I say morals, please don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm not saying that she needs to be singing about Jesus or something. I'm not talking about like her talking about sex. The issue isn't that she's singing about sex, because I have no problem with so many other artists singing about sex. It's the way that she is going about it, where it's like, it feels forced. Like, she isn't doing it because she genuinely is trying to be, oh my god, wait, let me lock my doors. Yeah, it doesn't seem like she's doing it because she genuinely feels like being this sexual. It feels like she's doing it because she knows the outcome is that she's going to be more famous. And she's just a clout chaser. Again, she's always been a clout chaser. I've seen that throughout all of the eras, that she's always kind of climbed onto the people that, you know, she's around, just so she can kind of improve her so-called social status. And so I just think it's so cringe, so crazy. Also, there are reports online that you can find from a lot of people who have met her, who have said that she's not a good person, she's rude. People who have been in movies with her, who are like extras, they would say that, like, for example, Liza Koshy and Sabrina were in a movie together, and that's how they actually ended up befriending each other, but the extras of that movie would say Liza Koshy was so humble, so down to earth, and would always talk to the extras, but Sabrina would just like ignore the extras, or she would act like she was so much better than the extras, or just kind of disregard them just because they couldn't serve her any purpose for her career, I guess, because they're extras technically. I don't know. I just think that's so embarrassing, like so embarrassing. And that's literally the definition of a clout chaser, in my opinion. That, or like service employees have also said she's rude, she's not a good person, and I believe it. I mean, have you seen the amount of time she's been a mean girl, like with Olivia, with Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello? Like, I'm sorry. There was no reason for her to make the song Skin. There was no reason for her to be making the song Taste, which was targeted at Camila Cabello, when her main issue here is Shawn Mendes, and clearly she knew what she was doing. She could have made it like a side small song also on the album, but no, she made it a whole single, like as in that's part of the larger marketing brand of this era, the short and sweet era, and she made that the single, one of the singles. So clearly she knew what she was doing. She was trying to get more attention off of this supposed love triangle between her, Shawn, and Camila. I don't know, she's just so icky to me now, and like, I still listen to her music, but if I listen to her music, honestly, it's mostly just her older music. Her newer music just kind of like is fine. Like, I like some of her songs. I think my favorite songs from Short and Sweet would be Good Graces. I do like Taste, even though what I just said is true. I listen to Espresso a lot, and there's some other songs. I like Coincidence. I also like Sharpest Tool, but I don't know. I think her older music will always be better for me, and I also just think she's a mean girl. She's clearly desperate, and I just think that it's really sad, honestly, to see someone that you loved for so long basically kind of sell out. I think she's a sellout, personally. I mean, clearly, especially now that we've seen that she's got this huge corporation behind her trying to promote her and stuff, I feel like she's definitely a sellout in a lot of ways. I wouldn't say she's a nepo baby, like the way that a lot of people try to frame her to be. She's not a nepo baby. I know this, but she's not a nepo baby, but she's still someone who definitely sold out. And I remember, this is kind of a little off topic, but I remember like when Jeanette McCurdy released her book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, and she talked about like the Nickelodeon hush money. I always sometimes think about like how some celebrities, I just know immediately that they would take the hush money. Ariana obviously took the hush money, but I try to apply that to other people too. Like Sabrina Carpenter, if you offered her hush money, she would take it. Oh yeah, she would definitely take it. Jeanette McCurdy, she didn't take it, but Sabrina, yeah, she definitely would. And so, I mean, if she were in that position. And so, I don't know, I just think about that sometimes, and it makes me sad though, because like I again was such a big fan of Sabrina, and I still will probably go to a concert of hers one day if the opportunity presented itself, because she's got like talent. Like, she's vocally talented, she's great vocals. Obviously I still have my critiques about her. Another thing I guess I didn't mention is that also her singing sexually in front of children. I know that's a huge like hot topic type of thing. I don't know, I mean, I can understand why parents would be upset, but then also at the same time, like, you should know like what your child is listening to. Like, you should be able to monitor what your child is listening to, and that seems more like a problem on the parents' part rather than the singer's part. Even though I think, again, Sabrina is definitely forcing this whole sexual thing because she's just that desperate, and yeah, like that desperate to make it out there in Hollywood, which is funny because she literally has a song on Evolution, which is her second album, called Mirage. I love that song, but yeah, she has a song about the facades of Hollywood or something. I don't know if she even wrote that song, but I'm sure she did, probably. It says that she's in the songwriting credits, but I think that parents should definitely be monitoring what their children are watching. Like, you should definitely know what kind of singer's concert you're going to, like, going into it and everything, like when you're going to their concert. But at the same time, like, I do think it would be wise of Sabrina to at least release a statement being like, hey, like, children, please, like, don't come to my concert, or like, okay, you can come to my concert, but like, I don't know, like, just kind of putting something out there would be nice. But she doesn't have to do that. Like, if that were me, if I were Sabrina, I would, but I know Sabrina wouldn't, and she doesn't have to. But I also know she wouldn't because she wants as much success, well, financial success and fame-wise success, as possible. So, like, I don't know. I know she wouldn't do it, but it would be nice. But then also at the same time, I don't think that would realistically stop children from going to those concerts or whatever, and I don't think that Sabrina has to change her sets if she doesn't want to. But at the same time, again, all of her set designs and her innuendos and everything are just so forced to me, in my opinion. Like, she wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for the fact that she saw that this is what people seem to like from her. And I just don't think that it's good for the longevity of her career, because she is genuinely talented vocally. I do think she has a huge fucking head. Like, she has a huge ego, and she needs to be humbled in some way, because I think that she thinks that she just knows it all. But this is not good for the longevity of her career, because she's only ever going to be known as this sexual being who can only sing about sex and doesn't have good vocals. But she does have good vocals, and she also is a good actress. In my opinion, she's a pretty decent actress. I loved her movie Emergency. I've also watched The Hate U Give, which she's in too, but I loved Emergency. I actually think it's one of my favorite movies, and I watched it just for her, but like, I ended up loving it not because she's in it, because she's not even a main character. She's like a side character, but I ended up loving the movie anyway. But yeah, I just think that it's not good for the longevity of her career. I think she should have taken a page out of Olivia's book and done what she did when it comes to long-term career building. But I think Sabrina is just so, again, desperate to just kind of claim whatever she fucking can, and that's why she is so willing to drag people down to get there, that, you know, she's trying to, again, do whatever it takes and promote the whole Hollywood sex sells thing, which I don't think female artists should do. I really think we need to abolish the sex sells thing. Long term, it's just not a good look for feminism. It's not a good look for Hollywood, and it's not helpful or beneficial for women in the long run. If anything, it only ever harms women. But I think that we need to really look into that, and I just wish Sabrina would reevaluate her career choices. But the truth of the matter is, someone who wants to be a celebrity is probably deeply insecure, and I can tell Sabrina is. She doesn't have self-respect, not because of the sex stuff. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that because she's surrounded herself with bad people, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to get to what she perceives to be the top. And people who are like that don't have self-respect for themselves. They are deeply insecure, and that is why most celebrities are not good people. But again, that's a different episode. Also, I guess the other stuff I could mention is like the Lolita photo shoot. You can look that one up yourself. I think that's really problematic. And again, she absolutely is disgusting for agreeing to be in some kind of photo shoot like that. That's just horrible, in my opinion. Also, the race fishing, well, maybe not race fishing, but the spray tanner is definitely giving, I will do whatever it takes to be famous, because she never did that, like, before. Trust me, she never did that. It's only now that she's spray tanning, and it's because she knows that she's trying to portray herself as this certain type of image, like this early Hollywood, like 60s, like Marilyn Monroe, like I don't know, like sex doll almost. I don't even know how to explain it, but like, you probably know what the vibe I'm trying to get is. Like, if you watch the Espresso music video, you'll probably see what I'm talking about. But genuinely, like, it's such a shame, because like, she has so much potential and talent, but she's just wasting it on a couple of years of fame, and then it's gone because she didn't choose to build her career properly. And also, clearly she's a nasty person on the inside, I think, and she needs to work on herself. So I guess maybe that was inevitable to some extent. You know, I think people can see through these types of people, or at least some people are able to see through these types of personas in Hollywood, but I don't know. Anyways, I think there will probably be more things that I could say, and hopefully they come to mind at some point, but I'm going to leave it at that. I will just say, though, I'm just, again, really sad that I have come to this point, because nowadays, whenever I see someone who I haven't seen in a long time, they're always, I can guarantee you, they'll always ask me, like, how do you feel now that Sabrina is like this big pop star? And I always tell them, like, it's actually really sad to me. I feel like I lost a huge part of my childhood in a way, because now I just see how disappointing she has really become. And that's how I also feel about Ariana, but like Sabrina in particular in this example, like, it's just really sad to see that she has so much potential and she's wasting it on being this awful person. And music wise, again, she also just has so much potential, and she's not utilizing it the way that she could. You know, she But I guess maybe she just realized all the singing, all the acting and everything, it wasn't getting her as famous and popular as selling herself in a way that doesn't feel authentic to her. And I can tell that it's not authentic. So yeah, but I guess that's where she's at now. And I'll still be listening to her always because she was/is still one of my favorite artists. But it's never going to be the same. I'm always going to have this view of her, I think, and I don't think she's going to change. So my perspective on her will probably not change, but yeah, I don't know. I just wish she would go back to her old ways, but I also know she was always like this. I'm sure her entire life. It's just that now it's coming out because, again, fame does not change people. It just brings out who people really are. And with that, I should probably go. I've been sitting here for over an hour, actually. So I think I am going to go. But yeah, please don't hate me in the comments, but also if you do want to hate me in the comments, that's fine. Just give me constructive criticism at least. And also, I know I didn't express some of my points very well. We'll get there when we get there. If anyone has something to say, you can let me know in the comments. I don't know. My last point is celebrities fucking suck. They're all horrible people. Do not have a favorite celebrity, and I'm telling you this as someone who did/did have a favorite celebrity. And yeah, okay, I'm gonna go now because I've been sitting here for way too long, and I actually need to go to my friend's house because she got surgery done, and so I have to go visit her, and also I need to give her this thing that I bought for her. So I'm gonna go, but okay, alright, bye.